Hello again. We are charting the higher octave with my guest today. He is the Scottish songwriter and one of the co-founders of Trashcan Sinatras. I got John Douglas all the way in Scotland,
Hi, how you doing?
Ayrshire, Scotland, right? No, you're in Glasgow. You're in Glasgow. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So thank you for doing this interview. I know you just released your debut LP, your
Yes.
debut
Uh,
album. Was it last year?
Yes, my first solo record, yeah,
Yeah,
last
your
year.
first solo records. But before we go there, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the Trashcan Sinatras. It's a very interesting name,
Uh-huh.
and I'm sure many people who are not aware or are not familiar. Well, can you tell us a little bit about where the name came from? I mean, I understand a little bit, but maybe you can explain it more.
Yes, the band was formed in the kind of mid to late 80s in Scotland. And so we were unemployed people. There was a lot of unemployment at the time. And one
Oh,
of the things that the government organised was you could go and do little courses. And one of the courses, there was two members. There wasn't a band at the time, but the guys had to go to this like an old school, and they had to spend 2 or 3 weeks doing something, and at the end of the 3 weeks they had to present a thing, and the guys decided to do a show. One of them had a guitar, one of the guys could sing, and there was some trash cans, some bins. So
oh,
we used that as the drum kit, and
Mm.
they did that. I think they did a version of "The Lady as a Tramp" with some altered lyrics, and for the day they called themselves the Trashcan Sinatras. And
Mm.
then some of the guys went on to form what became the band. They just kept the name because it was quite a memorable name.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it has a history, definitely, of
Yeah.
the how it was founded and all that. So how did you guys all meet? Did you all meet like all different, like somebody met this person?
Well, the town we grew up in is quite small, and in that period, in the kind of mid '80s, there was quite a healthy music scene, and the nature of the town was because there would only be like two bars where those musicians would go and hang out. There's a lot of other bars where maybe your more 9 to 5 people would go. So
Um,
when you're in a little community like that, you get to know everyone, and we were all kind of in and out of various bands. But when the three of us, Paul, Frank, and myself, got together, there was a chemistry straight away, and we kind of honoured it. So we're basically friends from small town.
oh, and is that the small town of Ayrshires?
Ayrshire like the county. The town's called Irvine. Irvine, Irvine.
Oh, okay.
Irvine.
So are the members in the previous when it first was founded, which member still is still with the band?
Frank and Davy,
Okay, yeah,
the vocals and bass.
okay. And so I know there's so many things going on with the band as well. I know they released Cake after how many it's a re-release, right? They did that. And then there was a
Yeah,
documentary that came out. I don't know when that came out. Was that more?
recently,
Oh yeah.
like a
How
couple
how
of
do- how
months.
do how do people access that? How do you find it?
It's on SoundCloud.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's it's an audio documentary. It was made for
Oh,
the radio,
oh,
so
I see. Okay.
it's about an hour long. If you just Google Trashcan Sinatra's documentary, you'll get a link to the SoundCloud thing.
And that was produced by award-winning Irish journalist Ken Sweeney, who did that one, which
Yes.
back to your 35 year story behind the band and all the probably explaining a little bit about the name and all that other stuff, right? Uh,
Yes, it goes into a lot of details about how we formed, and it's mostly about the songs, really, and where we grew up, and just the general, information about the band. It's very well made, though, very well made.
oh yeah, yeah. One of the songs I love it's a cover. I think you guys did it. Lulu song. Lulu.
Artistic love, yes.
Yeah. Do you guys have that? That's a beautiful song. I love that. I love the version, the
Oh,
Trash
thank you.
Conscious version.
Yeah, I thought we were just record. We had a studio at the time, and
Uh-huh.
we would play and record all the time, and that was one of the songs that I don't know how it came up. I think Frank may have suggested it, and we kind of slowed it down and gave it a kind of a Walker Brothers type treatment, and it worked really well. Yeah, we were really proud of it. Lulu, I met Lulu actually, and she said it was her favorite version.
Oh yeah. No, but she said that? Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was very
Oh,
nice.
you got her blessings.
We got her blessing, absolutely.
And I also love the you did this as well. You had your own version to it, the prefab sprouts. We let the
Yeah,
stars we let the stars go. That's a beautiful kind of sad song, but it's so beautiful.
yeah. It's got a lot of nuances. It's kind of it's bittersweet, I think. It's someone reminiscing about an old flame and,
Yeah.
reminiscing on how good it was, but maybe also reminiscing about how troublesome that they themselves maybe were back then. There's got some interesting nuances in that song. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, the title itself speaks a lot about how sad it is because when you let the stars go, that means
Mm.
not in alignment anymore. And then you
Well,
kind of like, and then the stars when it goes, that means that it will never happen again.
well, you could look
Pretty
at it
much
that
what it
way.
means.
Really.
In astrology, that's what it means.
Oh, I see.
Unless,
Ah, okay. That's
uh,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I see. I mean, it's a beautiful title. I always love that song, and
Yeah.
I always looked at it that way because when you let the stars go, the stars, they connect people, right? Supposedly, the planets, the stars, whatever you.
Yeah. Yes.
And if they're not
Yeah.
in harmony or they're not in alignment or whatever it may be, in this
Yeah.
regard, that's how I see it, then that means goodbye. It's like you're not in vibration anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, the full lyric is "We let the stars go free." That's the kind of the full sentence. So it's kind of got maybe a slightly more positive. I think when I'm singing it, it's more about long ago, one gorgeous night, we let the stars go free. I think it's more about we were open to each other. We let our defenses down.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah. Well,
every
I
song.
mean, I love the way that you do it as well. I mean, I'm not saying that it's sad when you let somebody go. I think that's just it's
Yes.
beautiful. A sad song, a tragic love song is always the best song.
Yes, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
That's the
Absolutely.
truth. Not happy songs are good songs.
No,
So
I'm with you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
because you gotta have the aching and the sigh in order to
It's
have
true.
to
It's
reach
true.
the darkest of the soul to reach down there. So I'm
Yes.
so glad you included that in your solo, in your
Well,
debut solo.
yeah, I think there's a lot of wisdom in it. You can have heartache, but you end up wiser for it generally.
Yeah. So this is your debut album, and it's you call it just your own solo work.
Yes, just my name. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And so this one came out last year
Uh-huh.
on Reveal Records.
Yeah.
So this was released last year, and then I know you also have another cover in no, well, not a cover. It's a song for Sid Barrett. I think is
Yes.
so it's part of the the band the band did it, and then you had your own version to it, which is also beautiful.
Yeah, that's what the songs I wrote that song uh a few years back. I don't know. Do you want to know the story behind that?
Yeah, yeah, please, yes, yes. I know it's called Oranges and Apples. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sid Barrett, I'm a big fan of his music.
Mhm.
He was one of the founder members of the Pink Floyd and
Right.
had a very, very original approach to music. And he passed away in maybe 10, 15 years ago. And he'd been living in obscurity been living privately for most of his life.
Mhm.
And there was tales of, he'd sort of mental issues and maybe had some drug problems in the past. But uh, the thing that inspired me to write the song was after he passed away, his sister Rosemary decided to auction off his household, the contents of his house, and they had an auction at Sotheby's in London. And online before the auction, you could go and have a look at the lots, go and have a look at the items. And I
Oh.
thought, I'll go have a look, and I expected to see maybe like guitars or posters or psychedelic things from the 60s. But there was none of that. It was all just very humdrum things from his house. But he changed them all. Like he had a little music center, a little stereo, and he took the fronts of the speakers off and sort of melted them and sculpted them into these faces, then put them back on. He had a chest of drawers, like a real normal high street chest of drawers, but he took all the handles off and replaced them with things so it looked like a kind of winking face. All these sort of, he had a wheelbarrow he made the handles twist in a funny way and painted it all a certain different way. So all the kind of humdrum
Mhm.
high street normal things that he had in his house, he'd sort of made them his own. And that really affected me. I thought, what, this guy was pretty much made everything his own, even the things in his house. And I thought that artistry is just, you got to take your hat off to that. Quite an eccentric character, but at his core, he was just wanted everything to be slightly shifted so that it pleased his ears and his eyes. And
Wow.
I find the whole thing very inspiring. And when I listen to his music now, I just feel a little closer to him. He's just a kind of pretty much an eccentric and a bit of an oddball. And maybe the music industry wasn't the best place for him. But I think the impact his music had on has been
Uh-huh.
very profound. I think the Beatles were influenced by him. I think anyone that hears them, it's like a new light. Suddenly there's a new color.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare character.
Yeah, and, thank you for sharing that. I didn't even know that. That's a really interesting. I mean, it takes time to even remove things and change it around just to make that effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's to be
Yeah.
admired. Absolutely.
I mean, I like things that are unique myself. I mean, I would probably change the handle of a drawer just to make it a little bit more flashy, a little bit more of my style, but to
Mm.
actually do what he did, which is a little bit in the more I guess unique.
Yes. Yes,
A
absolutely.
little different. I mean, I don't think so. He actually made those items to actually do
It
that.
was more, he adjusted them. I mean, the chest of drawers, it was like just a high street thing. It wasn't an expensive thing. But once he got it in the house, he moved it. Same with the stereo. They weren't
Oh,
big
Sid
expensive.
Barrett. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
amazing.
Very inspiring. Very inspiring.
And so the apples and oranges were like one of the things you would see there. I mean,
No,
that's
that's just a nod to him. The line is, oranges were made for you and the apples too. I think characters like
Mhm.
that. It's like nature was made for him. He's the kind of guy that would look at nature and get total inspiration from it. Nature's so beautiful for characters like him, and they can see it, and they can filter it through into their music. It's it's poetry. I suppose the oranges and apples side of it. It's imagery and taking a bit of
Yeah.
poetry. So,
Yeah, just how different they are, right? But then they're part of that subset, but they're different in that regard. Kind of like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I know you're in your debut album, your solo album, you have some songs from, that you actually wrote for the band, and then there's some originals, right?
Yes, there's a few kind of newer songs on it that I wrote myself. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
that was never with the band. So which one were those? I know, okay, I
Uh,
know
there's a song called Lost
Lost,
that
okay. I know.
uh,
I know
was
weightlifting is with the band, and then Leave Me Alone as well, and
yeah.
um, Always.
Yeah, that's a newer one. Yeah,
Uh,
that's it's basically I got stuck for writing for a while. I got a bit blocked. But as soon as I started thinking about doing songs with it would just be my voice and my guitar and nothing else, songs started to return. It was like a fresh route to songs coming, and they were the first. Lost and Always were the first ones to arrive, through that route.
So, why did it take you some time to write this album? To do your own solo work. I mean, did you always want to do that?
No, it never really crossed my mind. I had a few issues, like I had an illness a few years ago, which it was quite serious, and I couldn't do anything for a couple of years.
Mm,
I was on medication, and there was a lot of surgeries. And that made me look at, once I recovered from that, I just saw life as a lot more precious, and time is a lot more.
mm.
There's, you have to treasure the time you've got, and I saw this place with much more, wiser eyes, I think. And it didn't really, and as I say, I got writer's block, but as soon as I started thinking about myself and my guitar, it came back, and I just thought this is something I should do. I've got friends that go out and play just with an acoustic guitar as well, and I kind of began to envy that skill of standing on a stage just with your voice and your guitar and try and conjure up music and emotion with just those basics.
Hmm.
So it was a bit like I knew I was going into an apprenticeship, and that's quite refreshing to get to my age and try and do something completely new. So it wasn't something I'd planned for any long time. It just events and time just made this seem like a natural thing to do.
I mean, do you find that your solo work has allowed you to express a different aspect of your voice or of yourself that you couldn't do with the band?
Uh, well, the band. I mean, I've always sang
Yeah.
songs with the band. Not many, but the door was always open to me doing it.
Yeah.
Some of those songs are quite personal. I guess what it's done is, as I say, the limitations just of my guitar and voice just became very appealing.
Hmm.
When I don't have a big palette to choose from, and it's just you've got the guitar and you've got yourself, it just seems very, very sort of enticing. And yeah, I suppose it's a different approach than the band. I mean, I'm still with the band, and we're making records. We're quite in the middle of making one just now.
Mm.
But yeah, two very different approaches, and but both just very creative, and I'm enjoying them both hand in hand.
Yeah. What are some of your I guess your inspiration musically? I know you already gave me a I know you so Sid Barrett is definitely one of them and Pink Floyd. I mean I can tell that. Is there another band that you inspired?
Um, I listen to, I mean, I listen to like Bob Dylan quite a bit, especially the past three or four records. I've really liked that. In the early days, when I was starting out, it was the punk music, the Clash and the Jam were the kind of things that made me think, oh, you can go and get a guitar and you can make music. Anyone can have a bash at it. I listen to a lot of Scott Walker stuff. That's
Oh
always been
yeah,
something.
yeah. That's beautiful. I love Scott Walker.
Yeah, over the years, that's always been at my side, his stuff. It used to be very hard to find actually before the advent of the internet and CDs and all that, when we used to live in a vinyl world. I
Hmm.
think I think I probably it was a real hard thing to get his records. I
Hmm.
fell
Yeah.
in love with the Walker Brothers music, but the solo records, you just couldn't get them. So it was a bizarre state of affairs back then, very strange. But those records are amazing. Yeah, that's stuff I listen to regularly.
Yeah. And I noticed there's another album called Brel, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then that's kind of connected to Scott Walker because he was
yes.
influenced by Jacques Brel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lovely coincidence. It's the name of a bar here in Glasgow
Oh, is
where
it? Oh, okay. I was
yeah,
thinking is it Jacques Brel they're referring to. I love Jacques Brel.
yeah, it's a Belgian sort of themed bar. They do
Uh,
Belgian food. Yeah, yeah, Jacques Brel was a big. I think Glaswegians have a big soft spot for Glasgow for Jacques Brel over the years. The Alex Harvey band in the 70s did a brilliant version of Next. And yeah, Brel's amazing. He's like a street poet,
yeah,
It's
yeah. Is that bar still around?
yes, it's just down the street, aye, still
Oh, it's
around.
right by your street. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. They don't get anybody playing music in it so much now. It's mostly drinking and food. But it changed
Oh.
ownership, and the previous owner guy loved having shows, and so there'd be artists who passed through town. They would go and play there, and
Oh wow. I mean that's historic.
yes, absolutely, yeah,
I
yeah,
need to go to that bar.
yeah.
I mean a lot of people, especially when you're young, you don't know who Jacques Brel is.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah, he's one of the best. One
I
of the
know
best.
Mark Almond loves Jacques Brel.
Yeah, he brought out a record of doing his songs as well.
I know a lot of people do that cover of his songs. I mean, it's so like it's one of those die-hard kind of heartbreak kind of songs. It's so
Yes,
beautiful. That's what
absolutely.
he
Yeah.
sings about. That's why I could totally relate to all the heartbreaking songs.
Yes.
That's what makes music so beautiful.
Yes. Yes. It gets you deep.
So being doing your solo album, what do you Is there something that you're most excited about? Just as you embark on this new chapter of your
Uh,
this musical journey.
yeah, it's like I've just started swimming in a really nice river. It's
Mm.
I'm excited to go and play it in different countries.
Yeah, you
I've
got, you got a tour coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm coming
Like,
over to America in a couple of weeks, and I'm staying for 3 weeks and touring around the place with just my guitar and my songs. And
oh,
yeah, it's just slowly evolving. Every time I play a show, I learn something new. I've got into a state of mind where if I've got a song on the brew or a song is arriving, I'll play it as soon as I can to people, even if I've not quite finished it, and just see how things go down. And I like talking, I like chatting to folk, and there's
yeah.
stories. I'll set
Yeah,
the
me
scene for
too.
songs. Yeah, it's just a different skill and a different. It's very. I just find it very intriguing, the whole thing, and it's slowly evolving. And as I say, it does feel like an apprenticeship. It feels like I'm learning all the time.
Yeah, because I know you're touring beginning October 1st, so I'm glad we were able to do the interview because I know that's another thing. You're gonna be leaving very soon and then you'll be gone for the whole month.
Yeah,
And now
that's
you're
true.
going to the US.
Yeah, I start off in Los Angeles and go up to like
San
Seattle,
Francisco,
Portland, go all across the north and
then back to the east.
No, I kind of originally that was the plan, but it was going to be 5 weeks, but it turned into 3 weeks because my agent realized the election was going to be on, and
Oh, okay.
she advised me that actually tickets are hard to push when an election on because everyone's so plugged into reality and what's going to happen. So we moved the kind of southern half of the tour to next year. So I
Oh,
go across America.
that's actually good because I don't
Hmm.
know how some musicians can do that 1 month tour like that. I mean, that is just I don't know. Do you find it difficult to do? I mean, I don't know, it's hard. I mean, even when
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how old you are. Tour.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long time to be away from home, and there's a lot of long drives. And
Mm.
yeah, 5 weeks would have been long. 3 weeks is probably about right.
Yeah, I think 3 weeks.
Mm, mm.
Some musicians they go one after another, they just keep going and going, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's okay. When I was younger and we didn't have so much family responsibility, and we were just single guys on the road, yeah, we could have toured forever, and not forever, but we'd have toured for a good few months, and it would have just been fine. We'd have been all right. But we've got lives now, and things take precedent. So and also health, and
yeah.
you can only go on the road for so long.
So I know there are some musicians that's going to be joining you in this tour. Do you want to talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, just a couple of the shows. I play in Los Angeles, and that's where Frank, the singer from the Trashcans, lives. So he's
Oh.
going to come along and join me for a few songs.
Mm.
And a couple of gigs later, I'm up in Seattle, and that's where Paul, who's the guitar player in the Trashcans, he lives there. He lives in Tacoma, so it's quite near Seattle. So him and Frank's going to fly up, and the three of us will do a few songs at the end of my set.
Mm.
So I'll do a set, and then I'll bring them on for just a nice little special appearance for those two shows, LA and Seattle. Yeah, it'd be good to catch up with them as well, because they live in the States. We don't
Oh,
we
they
obviously,
do. Okay.
yeah, Frank lives in Los Angeles. He's married and has lived there for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And
Oh.
Paul's the same. He's married and settled in Seattle. So both of them have been over there for many years now. We still make music, through the internet. We can send files over and still make
Hmm.
records, but we don't actually get physically in the same room very often. So I'm looking forward to catching up with them and seeing how they are.
Yeah. No, that's a good reason to catch up. Since you're touring with them and playing with them.
Yeah.
Music always brings people together.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Do you have a favorite track from the debut album?
Yeah, I think Lost is my favorite song on
Oh,
it.
okay.
It's got a
Okay.
mood, it's got a really nice, it's captured something that I like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, it looks really exciting. I mean, I'm really happy for you.
thank you.
Whenever I travel, I always love that too. I love traveling, so I whenever I see
Mm.
people doing same thing, I just like, wow. because you always gain something new, and you always have some kind of new experience to share. From
Yeah, I think it's rejuvenating, and it's always enlightening, to remind yourself that we're kind of basically the same wherever you go. The media can tell you a lot of stuff, but when you actually go places and you meet people, you realize that people are the same. They just want a good time, a safe place,
yeah.
the kids to be cool, the roof to be all right, you know. A lot of the media will kind of try and scare you off that. So it's nice to get the reality.
And I know the producer for this album. If you want to talk a little bit about Mark Pregard.
Yeah, he's a guy who's got a lovely history.
Mm-hmm.
He, in the 80s and 90s, he produced a lot of big records. I think the Breeders he worked with, and he worked with the Pixies, and he did stuff for Delamitri and
Oh yeah, yeah.
Marillion, and I got to know him because he lives in Glasgow, and he worked on a few records that I was involved in. And he just liked my stuff. He says my songs sound like they've always been there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very happy to work with him, and we just got a room in Glasgow. He moved his equipment into it. The room used to belong to the Blue Nile. It was like an old rehearsal space of theirs. It's right in the centre of town, but it was quiet. And he moved all his equipment in the afternoon. He said, "Come round about 7:30 at night, and I'll get you to play 2 or 3 takes." And that's what I did. And by 11:30, we'd finished the record. So he was good. If I would play the song and I'd play it again, and he would say, "Okay, that sounds like a record. Let's move on to the next one." So it was,
Okay.
I'll take like two or three
You got the
takes.
ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Two of them.
Well, I'm really excited for you, and congratulations on this new solo album. And anything coming? I mean, are you planning on doing another one? I know
Well,
you're still working with the band, of
yeah,
course.
we've got the trash cans, and they hopefully the plan is to have another trash cans record at some point next year. For my own solo stuff, I did a little EP that's coming out in September, and
Mm.
ideally, I'm planning to have another solo record for next year as well. So that's the plan.
So you're busy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be. It's healthy busy though.
Oh yeah, it's very yeah. That's good to be busy. Yeah. So
Yes,
I guess the next thing is the tour, which is coming up in October. So good luck with that, and good luck with your new album that you're going to be releasing later on, the EPs, and
thank
big
you.
shout out to Shameless Promotion PR. Always so
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic.
okay. Well, it's always so nice to chat with you, John. Thank you for the opportunity.
Nice to chat with you. Hopefully, I'll make it out there one day. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, everybody it's just a plane away.
That's true. Next time, I'll speak to my agent, see if we can make it happen.
Sometimes they have a straight flight from well, I don't know if they have one from Glasgow to San Francisco, but sometimes there are because I hate those flights where you have to have a long layover. Oh, this
Oh,
gets me. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd rather fly 14 hours than have a layover.
Yes, definitely. Aye. That's the way to do it. Just get straight there. No messing.
Yeah. All right. Well, pleasure speaking with you, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now
Take it.
I'll be sure to tag you on are you on Instagram?
Yes, I've got an Instagram thing. Yeah.
Okay. Under John Douglas, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll go and tag you there. I'll follow you,
Thank you.
DJ Nocturna on Instagram, and then I'll do the same. You're on Facebook as well?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and X and Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so glad that we were able to connect. Uh you're one of those artists, that's you know, in deep and
Well, thank you.
inspirational. So
Well, thank you, DJ Nocturnal. It's very, very nice of you to say that.
yeah, yeah. Good luck with the rest of your your tour and all the next projects you're gonna be up to. And maybe we can do this again another time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. You take care now.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for that story on
Ah,
Sid Barrett.
it's just it was very inspiring that tale.
No,
I'm glad it.
I didn't even know about that. I don't think many people know that, right?
No, no, it's probably a bit of an obscure fact. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of things they know about him, but not that one. I didn't even know that.
Ah,
Now, it's because I think about it and I go, I would do something like that, but not. I would get my own. handles for.
Yeah.
I would buy like something gothic looking, you know.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but something classy but gothic looking. But you told me he kind of twisted the thing, and so that's unique,
Yes. Absolutely.
very special.
Mm. Very special. Very, very special.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay. You too. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. It's gonna be on my YouTube channel and podcast.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
Yeah,
I
and
look
then
for
I'll also put it on my radio program. Yeah.
brilliant.
So it
Okay.
might not be at the same time because I'll probably put on my YouTube channel first, and then I'll play it on my show on my radio program with your
Ah,
music.
oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, very much appreciated.
No, no, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Take
All the
care.
best. You
Okay.
take
You
care.
too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.